All right, what's up, guys? Good morning. Quick sound check. Let me know if you can hear me. Awesome. Appreciate it. All right, I got about 30 seconds here till the bell. The main focus for me on the day is going to be the Dow here. And I kind of want to see if this thing can't pull back into this 717s. If we open above it and kind of what that looks like. And see if we can't make a move up into 811s and then from there potentially even up into 890s. I wouldn't be surprised if we push like down towards like 690s here real quick first, and then from there try pushing back up through, which is exactly what we're doing currently. So that looks to be the case. And I'm also open to the idea of a S&P long up over this 77.50.75 as well. The Dow did pretty much exactly what I was thinking there. We pulled back to 684s. I'm kind of running away now, so we're gonna have to be patient on that. S&P 77.50s there on highs. Couldn't quite get those 50.75s yet. And Russell actually trying to participate a little bit here. I'm a little upset that I missed this Dow. That literally all happened within the matter of a few seconds and didn't really give any opportunity to be able to do anything with it. I'm still going to keep an eye on it, but it's not quite as pretty at this point now, considering that first move is first 2 minutes was a 95-point range. We do have NASDAQ coming down here. We'll see if that maybe wants to trade down into like 538s here. But the real thing here with the S&Ps is like if we get through 77.50s, there's technically room, if it really wants to do it, to like 77.98s, which is a rather, 50 points, a rather large move. I would be down to try and put that position on and just let it do its thing. I think we got to find a bottom first in the NASDAQ though for that to be the case. Apple trying to make a move there. NVIDIA, no real second day earnings move. S&P still no test of 50/75s or a push through just yet. Dow's coming back down under that 717s. $46.50 is a little front run there on the opening print for S&Ps. Russell's making new lows so far, only market to do so. Let's see if we can push on the S&Ps, get up through this 50/75s, and then look to do something with it from there. Does it reject here first test, or do we get through it? Technically, I guess we traded 55/50s yesterday, and NASDAQ now trying to get up through opening print. Meanwhile, Russell Dow going lower. NASDAQ did front run this 538 area down here. I'm going to let this have the first test of 50/75s and see if maybe it doesn't try and come back down for some type of divergence or a retest of open. Maybe a spike down into like 46 quarters to take out this prior bar's low and then get back through 50/75s at some point. The Dow is kind of failing the idea in which I had there. I think that first initial move was probably a little bit too much for it. Let's see if we can't get S&Ps to pull back to 46 quarters. Ticks opened super high and faded. NASDAQ also has a ton of room. I don't know if that's the one that wants to run away today or not. 30,059. What do we say that was? 729 for Qs. Just see what these are priced at the moment. Damn, they're expensive. All right, S&Ps are trying to hold this 50.75s here. We did push through by a little bit there on that pullback just now to 50.50s and continuing to push higher. So I'm going to be stalking for entries now. I don't know what that looks like specifically, if it's pullbacks here to 50.75s, NASDAQ back to opening print potentially, some type of Russell Dow divergence, or back over the level / open for one of those, and whatever the pullback from that is. We are taking out those overnight highs now and yesterday's highs for S&Ps. Unless we either just bought opening print around 46 or the break over 50.75s. There's no entries yet. I do want a position in here though if it presents one, because again 77.98's above, still 40 couple points worth of target in there. Apple's kind of giving an interesting little push over this level, retest of open, maybe it reclaims. If so, there's room to 320s. Tesla kind of doing the same little thing. Meta also getting that push there. Apple. $320s are like 40 cents. The upper level for NASDAQ is 30,059, so about 359 points from here, give or take. Yeah, S&Ps and NASDAQ are moving together, and Russell Dow moving together at the moment. That's typically the norm. I don't mind Apple. That's kind of proven itself here again now. Up through these 317.23s. It's not bad, especially if you think NASDAQ's going to run today. Stops would basically be right down here under opening print area, 316.70s-ish. I would just wait for this to finally confirm here, because we might get one more pullback in NASDAQ and S&Ps before we go, if we're going to go, and that could easily push this down back to 316.70s for a little shimmy that stops. Or you could give it a little extra room, size it for a little extra room under that. It's got that in it from a risk reward standpoint if you want to give it more. Microsoft's about to get those 512.40s. So we're starting to get this little S&P pullback here. That's the thing I was afraid of with Apple just now. We're getting this NASDAQ pullback. Russell Dow getting a little bit of a green bar here. It's just kind of wild. The Dow, I don't think is quite ready there. Microsoft did trade that 512.40s now, pushing through. I don't know where this wants to go. I guess. Let's see what's up through here. That could be the lotto for today. There's nothing 514.28s and then 533s. What are these options even going for? Damn, these are actually still kind of expensive. The 520s are 50 cents. That's an $8 move. I mean, I guess, granted, it's already had a $8.20 move on it, but those are still a little pricier than I would have thought. We just pulled back to 50.75s there for S&Ps. And getting a bit of a bounce here. NASDAQ didn't quite get back down to opening print though. Damn, I hate to buy S&Ps here. It's Friday. Yesterday was a good day. I'm not going to press this entry here off 50.75s in the S&Ps. It does look good, however, I don't love this Russell Dow situation at the moment. I think Dow's looking better for sure, but whatever that was just now. We do have some 10 a.m. news announcements coming out. I think we need that NASDAQ to test open print. It's a nice little pullback there on those 520s for Microsoft. If that can hold like right through here and market gets the pullback, then I wouldn't be opposed to something like that. We didn't quite break yesterday's highs there for the NASDAQ like we did the S&Ps. So we could make an argument that S&Ps just popped yesterday's highs and essentially you're going to fail that. Again, I didn't know we were going to do this specifically just now, but there's an opening print test for S&Ps. Google doesn't seem to care. NASDAQ opening print test there as well, continuing to come down just a little bit. Google I just don't think has enough target in it to make it worthwhile. And Dow's testing back up to 717s here. NASDAQ small little poke under opening print there. S&P is still holding opening print fairly well, actually. I think you could try a little NASDAQ if you wanted some here. There's no technical stop or anything just yet. Just have to give it like 30, 40 points, maybe say 600s down here, and assume it doesn't go down there. But we are sitting right back on opening print. Dow's trying to push through, waiting for the trigger, would be up over like 670s, give or take. But I'm kind of liking this S&Ps. I want to keep an eye on this. The question is whether I'm permitted to take an entry below 50.75s or not, which is tough at the moment because we don't have a divergence, which would be the thing I'd want to see to permit that, but I did say a spike back to opening print at some point, but I figured that would be before we went through 50.75s, not get 58s and sell 12 points in 0.2 seconds to go get it. Nasdaq's trying to hold that low. So is S&P. Do we get a divergence of some sort, or is this it? Doesn't feel like it's it. Certainly could be, though. I don't. If you're okay with taking 2 shots on the day, then this would essentially be your first entry here into the S&Ps. For the longs, targets are 77.98s. The only thing here with this entry currently is that I could see us making a move back down under these lows, 43.75s, or I could see something making a move down under lows, but at the moment, like Russell's getting a nice green bar. Dow's still technically under these 717s. NASDAQ, I think, is probably the quote unquote safer index at the moment. If we do get back up through 77.50, 75s, and then can maybe push up towards like say 55s, give or take, 54s and change, and then pull back for a test of 50.75s, then I'll take that. I'm going to wait on this initial entry though. I think there might be a little something extra coming. Which I could be wrong. And like I said, this could be the first entry and it could be the only entry needed. Risk reward wise, it's great. 50 plus points worth of target basically. Gold making a nice move there as well. Gold's getting a runaway. $46.79 becomes a target here for it. S&P is trying to push up through 50.75s here now. We kind of did something similar yesterday with this whole thing, right? Like we had that first pullback, we ran, we got the targets, we pulled back and we like sloshed around for a while and then finally started making moves again. I don't know if this is kind of similar in nature to that. Again, we do have some red impact news folders coming out here at essentially 7 seconds. I don't know what that does or doesn't do for us, but there it is. Whatever that was. Yeah, whatever that was the thing I didn't want to be involved with. Now it's going to be difficult. Son of a biscuit. Yep, that was the thing. That was the thing. It could ruin the charts for a while. What are you saying? Just crazy that I called that? We did come down. We got those new lows for S&P's whole thing, right? That bar on gold is nutty. Google is actually moving more than I thought it would. What now? What now? We did just come down and trade right into that level for gold. The updated levels from yesterday, that's a pretty wild looking chart at the moment. These are our levels, 46.79s and then 46.33s. I'm keeping an eye on these Microsoft 520s here. They're now 11 cents. I don't think we can do anything with it because we still need back over that upper level. Russell's about to tag its little levels down here now as well. NASDAQ trying to hold opening print, but might not do it. S&P is sitting on open as well. Whatever that was, essentially just kind of ruined charts. Yeah, somebody speaking. Yeah, I'm not surprised. With this type of movement. Is this the new guy? This is the new guy. We got to get rid of him because don't nobody want this. Gold getting smacked. Just straight up death to the downside. Listen, I'm kind of wondering if Microsoft doesn't do something just absolutely crazy on the day. It'd be super hard to think we get up through those 512.40s, but if we were to do it, then there's nothing else up there for a ways. Yeah, Nasdaq might come down and tag that lower level. I'm glad I held off. Something just wasn't quite right with the price action. I wonder if market doesn't hold though and we end up trying to rally at a certain point here. I've got these 520s for Microsoft queued up here. And I'm going to go ahead and take a few. It's potentially early under the level. We could still fail. They're also 7 cents. We've been watching them since they were up around 50 cents. Nice little pullback in there so far. If we can hold in this area and then start to push back up through, I think they have a pretty decent shot. Again, lotto trade. in there at the moment. So obviously not sized for anything crazy and assuming the full risk of those contracts. Apple's still kind of holding, would need to push back up through. $317.23s. Sorry, my window was a little off. Russell did test lower there towards 3,000. Google retested and held. Gold front ran by just a couple points there, that lower level. The problem here is that we're technically open all the way back to 77.05s if it really wants it. NASDAQ only thing at 538s. We're coming down now to those 538s for NASDAQ. I don't know if it's worth an attempt or not. I don't think so at the moment. Maybe it holds, but like if it does, like where are you really looking for this thing to go is the question. Yeah, I don't think that's it. I don't really know where we go though. I guess if we continue to fail, the idea would be we get to 207s. That's not a great look at the moment. Gold just tested that little lower level there now. NASDAQ gonna try its best. Or this is nothing more than a retest for a move to continue to go lower. Could make a valid argument for both. Do we go with the idea that you can't keep a good market down? Or do we want to go retest those 207s here? Or do we just totally say screw it and walk away on the day? We've got a little bit of Microsoft on, so if that does want to run, obviously needs a larger move, but that could be our long. I don't see what else there is from that perspective. We are getting a decent little bouncing gold off that level. What's up, Christian? Shadow thinks we hold and rally. Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then for sure. Not aware of the big news. I don't know that I would have thought it would have had that much of a movement to it, but it turns out it does. I said I'm still open to S&Ps. Obviously, we just need to get up through those 7750s first. Back over opening print obviously would be a good thing here at this point. NASDAQ getting a nice little rally back here. Gold is bouncing legitimately off the level almost to the tick there. 45.95. So nice start on a rally back here. Oh, it's at 10:30. That's unfortunate. Yeah, it's a nice little rally back so far. I use forex factory. This has always been the best for me, I think, personally. There's a 100-point rally back there now for the NASDAQ. S&P is pretty decent, right back up to opening print there, 46 quarters. So if we can start to do something with this, then I'm kind of okay with an entry. We probably need a little bit of a pullback still yet, but hopefully that wasn't too loud. Yeah, the weekly does look nice. That's kind of why I'm playing the Microsoft as well. Oh, I don't know if it is or not. I guess, right? I just saw that. Oh, yeah, it is. I just saw we had somebody speaking in a preliminary benchmark thingy. I didn't even look all the way down at I think it was day 2 of Jackson Hole. We had it yesterday too, right? I mean, if that's the case, day 2, we'd have to have a day 1 yesterday. Again, I don't really care about that. I obviously want to know the other things, but that part I don't have too much interest in. Yeah, we talked about that, the 10 a.m. news for that. It's a nice move so far off lows. $538 is actually holding pretty well. Amazon looks good too. Let's see what those Qs are going for now, Shadow. Did those make a move yet? Those are still expensive. The 726s are still 19 cents. Why are they still expensive? Yeah, but they're 0 DTE now. Why are they so expensive? I mean, it's kind of looking like it. If we can hold this. This will be that pullback in S&Ps to the open there. Dow might come down and get new lows. That would be interesting. We just tested those 50-75s again there. And Dow is about to get new lows. think it matched it, 577. NASDAQ there holding. That could be all NASDAQ needs right there. S&Ps might need a little bit more, but the pullback was 38.75s. I'm open to something, but if we're going to reject off of 50.75s like that and then not hold anything on the way down, then it's going to be tough. Dow's about to make those new lows. S&Ps did just take out that prior bar. Little low there, 38.75s. Damn, aggressively, I want to say you could try S&Ps from here, but that would be aggressive. Do we see the Russell come back? I mean, I don't know about this one. Yikes. S&P's coming back down. There's a new low tick reading on the day, minus 630s there. I don't know if S&Ps went back over this or not is the only question. NASDAQ sitting in a good position here. NASDAQ, you could say, long is essentially somewhere through here, opening print area. Basically same idea from earlier, stops under 600s basically. We don't have any confirmation yet though. There is a divergence now on the Dow making those new lows. And if NASDAQ does want to hold this open, yes, S&Ps are under the open. Yes, they're under the level. We did just test it like pretty much damn near to the tick. But there is that divergence in place now. So if we can find an entry in the S&Ps, then I'm not opposed to it. What that looks like is a different story here, but I don't want to just take it here. Although I do think we're probably going to try and rally this now. Russell might want this new low. New low was 94. We traded 94.60s there. Russell did get new lows there. S&P's trade 38s. See S&P's get up through opening print would be nice. I'm kind of half tempted to say the Russell rallies purely based on that divergence down there. I think S&Ps are good though. I just don't like the stop. I don't like the entry and the stop here, but I think we look good for essentially trying to get back over these 46s. $10.32. We did kind of that same, we talked about it a little bit earlier, like we did kind of that little bob and weave action yesterday, a little chop deal for a bit, and then finally just got the trend and made the move. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of Microsoft. We did just rally up there towards those 512.40s again. Would like to see that go ahead and go crazy to the upside. Although it just tested literally to the penny just now. The dilemma I'm having, or one of the dilemmas I'm having at the moment, is maybe Russell Dow want to participate. Does that mean S&P's NASDAQ don't, or is it going to be a broad market, you know, all four indices rally type thing, which would be fine. We did, however, just get that first close there for Russell. S&P is pushing up through opening print there now. Longs look good, you just got to find an entry here. That little gold shimmy was pretty nice. It's rallied 20 couple points already too. 50.75 is just traded for S&Ps there. We might look at this opening print test again if we get it here for S&Ps. That probably won't be too bad. That low was 49. I'm waiting for the right entry, and now I'm wondering if it's even going to give me that. We'll have to look at pullbacks to 50.75s if we do get through here, which, to be honest, I'm okay with so far not having tried these longs, obviously. Because we were looking at entries right before 10 o'clock. Let's see if we can't get a pullback, though. And I think Q's to 30,000 is not, I don't think it's too out of the question. It's 350 points from here. Shadow might be right. Oh, NASDAQ, sorry. You know what I meant. I'm looking at the QQQ, but yeah. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. Yeah, I don't think they're bad. Target 729.03s, new highs there. Yeah, I'm looking at them now. They're like 13, 14. Of course, NASDAQ's going to be the only market to get new highs here, so I'm still open to something here. I think we got to retest that opening print though for S&Ps. I don't think we have to do that for NASDAQ, although it's not really that far away. We might just push through though and not actually give the entry. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. The only problem is my boat doesn't have too many long contracts on at the moment. So I would like for my boat to be a little heavier with cargo, you know what I mean? Yeah, no, I mean I agree. I think there's 300 plus points there that NASDAQ can rally. And I think there's 50 points, give or take, that S&Ps can rally, which I would like to be a part of. QQQ calls might just be the way to go. I mean, risk reward wise, I guess they're not horrendous. I was kind of eyeballing those 727 halves, but the 727s now are like 10 cents. We just need a small little pullback, and those will drop some. And I mean, we're arguing over like 2 or 3 cents here. It's nothing crazy, but I might just join you on the 727s here. I grabbed a few. If we go to 729s, it probably doesn't matter, realistically. I really want Microsoft to move, though. I take that. I'll take that. Let her rip, tater chip. Microsoft, if that can get back up through here, that's the reason I like this, is there is legitimately nothing in the way. NASDAQ wants to run 300 points here. Send it. Sender. Dow pushing up into 717s there. Nice rally in the S&Ps. I don't think it would be too much to ask here still to see a retest of 5075s. We did that yesterday with essentially no problems for the 2650s. So yeah, I don't think that's still too much to ask. I did put some Q calls on. I have those Microsoft on, and that's essentially, you can make an argument I probably should have played Apple on that second push back up through 317s there, but I'm gonna make my bet with Microsoft and think that the crazy idea that it could go to 530s is essentially on the table. We'll grab those options down there around 7 cents. They're currently like 15. They did trade up to 50 cents this morning, a little bit more. I'm kind of going for like $7 though or more. Easy. Oh, we got untested overnight highs. Where are those at? I know we had some in the Dow. I didn't realize we had some in the NASDAQ too. Am I tripping? Where'd they be? Where'd they be? Oh, right up here, like we just did it, didn't we? I think I see what you're talking about. 757 quarters. Oh yeah. That was tiny. That was tight. We held that 538 pretty decent actually. Netflix on a ripper. I didn't think Google had enough room in it, but proved me wrong. Look at Google go. She don't need no man. Meta actually ended up with a nice rally there as well. S&P's gonna run. I really didn't think Google had it in it, but turns out it does. NASDAQ here, we got room, like I said, 30,059s. That's where we're looking to see this thing make the move. And yeah, I don't see anything else in our way at the moment. Again, S&Ps could certainly use a pullback to 77.50, 75s. Whether we're going to get that now or just continue to go on our merry way to 77, 98, 75s is a totally different story. I'm not quite sure how that is going to be written yet, unfortunately. But again, we do have some Microsoft on. We do have some Qs on. So we will let this try and work. And now it's just a matter of babysitting positions and kind of going from there. So 1428 in Microsoft. I don't know what that is. Let's pull it up on that there trading view. No, there is one there. 51430s. Real G's move in silence like lasagna. Word of my mama. I'm going to sell one Microsoft contract right here. Uno contracto sold. And then we're right up into this level. I'm going to try and sell one more at 30 cents. And then I don't want to sell anymore. Okay, that's sold. I don't want to sell anymore. I'm just going to sell two. Just two. I don't know what that is. Let's see. That's NASDAQ up over 770s. I don't know what that 770s must have been, like a pivot or something from a while ago. Real G's moving silence like lasagna. It's Apple crossing over those 320s and change there. Until I turn off the field lights. Fruits of my labor. A word of my mama. Holy shnikes. What is you doing, Microsoft? What is you doing? Ball to turn of the field lies fruits of my labor. I enjoy my still right. Alright. Well, sweet. We'll just say the NASDAQ is rallying within a downtrend since we took out that daily pivot from 8.6. We'll pull it up real quick. Maybe. If it'll load. I think this is the start of the new uptrend from the higher time frame chart. From a weekly. That's the reason that 29085s was important. We needed to come back, which we talked about it. That was, and the Qs essentially marked that low for, essentially this week, right on those lows, like 703s or whatever it was. I think that's essentially what we needed to do. It was come down to grab that in order to get the what would be this move now, the new uptrend going. This looks good though. I'm not upset at the moment. I would like to have some S&Ps on, obviously, but it's okay at the moment. Google was probably a bit of a fumble. Yeah, Q calls are over 100% now. I think they're trading for 29 cents. Yeah. I don't know why this doesn't. I don't know how to get this on a chart. There she goes. There she goes. That's cool. All right, nice move, nice move. At some point we'll get a bit of a pullback in here. I don't think it's going to be a problem though. We still got another 250 points basically to targets. 30,059s. There's still, yeah, 250 points to target. Like there's nothing I can do with this at the moment. Yeah, let's go. What do I got? The 727s. I mean, I don't know what the chances are that we just go straight there, but why not? I guess. This Apple move is getting to be a little crazy too. Nothing I can do with it here, but 331's above. $3.27 are like 3 cents if you want to gamble on some of those. There's literally nothing until 331's. Microsoft getting this push. Russell, decent little pullback. I'm going to trim legitimately one more contract on Microsoft at like 40 cents. If it'll give it to me. And I'm debating if we look at throwing a full on just lotto 327.5 calls on Apple. If we can pull back here to this 320.27s. They're like 3x4 at the moment. Let's call it 4 cents. Probably could just take them now if you really wanted to. And the idea being that there's nothing until 331.24. So they basically go to $4. Yeah, that's a 100xer. I'm gonna grab a couple. I know it looks like it's chasing, but it is legitimately a clean, fresh breakout in there. And unless I'm missing something, then I don't think. Yeah, there's nothing until 331.23s. 327.5s in Apple. I'm gonna see if we can't get a 100-bagger. Which we might technically be able to get a 100-bagger in Microsoft. That would be wild. We get 200 baggers in the same day after after the moves in which we've had over the past couple weeks. That would be wild. Microsoft is 533.26, which would technically be like $13. That would actually be $14 on those contracts, which would be 200, a 200 extra. That'd actually be wild. I don't know about that, but you can do it, Microsoft. You can do it all night long. What are we talking about here? 533s. Yeah, no, I should. I will when I go hit the bathroom here in a few. At the moment, I'm pretty chill, I think. If I stand straight up though, it's kind of a, it's kind of a bad height, you know what I'm saying, for the camera. That type of content you can find on my OnlyFans. Just kidding. I don't actually have an OnlyFans, but I should set one up. I've been saying that for a while. I did post it one time. I don't know if you guys remember that. I posted it to my story one time that I set one up. And I put a link. I put a link for it on my story. And it got like a couple hundred clicks. And I took it, I had it go to a page that had a GIF that said like "you need Jesus" on it or whatever. All right, if you're looking for that Apple pullback, it's somewhere in through here. Market in general, NASDAQ, everything getting this pullback so far. Russell coming back down there a little bit, interestingly enough. All right, nice move so far. I did grab a couple of, like I said, these 327 half calls for Apple. Again, full lotto on those. Just looking to see if it can do something crazy here. There's still another 300 points or so to go yet, I think, for NASDAQ from right here. Pretty much right at 300 points to the upside there. Again, we could see a pullback all the way to 77.50, 75 still. I don't think that's necessarily going to happen, but it most certainly could. Happy to have taken a little bit off there on the Microsoft on that rally. And again, we're still holding a bag of those 520s. Uh, at this point, I don't think there's anything else for us to do. We just need to manage these positions and let them try and go ahead and run on up into targets here. You could try and scoop some more of those Apple 327 half calls here. They're at 2 cents. Anywhere between 2 cents and 5 cents, I think, is a good entry on those. We're taking a long shot here for that to see if it wants to trade 331s and change on Apple. 331.23s, as a matter of fact, would be that target. So I'm trying to get these to $4 on these 327 halves. So yeah, that's what I'm looking to do. $321.35 would be that new high. NASDAQ getting a nice little move there. I'm going to go ahead and put an order 327 halves. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and set a limit on these. Let's just say 375. There's Apple putting in a new high there for a quick second. NASDAQ high in place now is 811.50s, so 811.75s would be new highs in there. All right, set some orders up there, and I guess we still need to set a couple orders here on this QQQ. These Apple calls are back to 4 cents now. Big money. Big money. We need a crazy move out of essentially everything but the NASDAQ. I mean, NASDAQ moving 300 points isn't too crazy. We essentially, that's the range in which we have for the day, 306 points. And we're only up 54 points on the day. So for us to essentially be up 1% on the day, give or take, you know, that would put us basically right up into that target area. So yeah, it's not too crazy. It's not too crazy by any means. Ugh. All right. Now we just wait. I'm probably gonna get ready to sign off um, here soon and just let this do its thing. S&P's nice little rally there. Apple's actually moving. Apple moving. Moving. All right, like I said, Um, I mean, I've summoned them. I have summoned them. I need Microsoft for a full send. That would make for a lot of fun. Although if Apple does it too, I'm okay with that as well. Apple making a move here. This call is now 6 cents. 327 half. 327 halves they are. I had to double check, make sure I had the right ones up. Microsoft kind of stalled here for a moment. That would actually be kind of wild. We hit a hundred bagger. Yeah, I mean, if today's the day for Apple, then it's a good strike. Um, like I set all the orders up there. Um, so I might just go ahead and walk away here. What's gonna happen is gonna end up taking all day. I guess the Dow did make new highs there. Nothing else did. Now we're kind of coming back down there. As long as we can hold in Microsoft, I think it'll be fine. I'm not really too worried about that one. And QQQ calls could be a problem. Now, or S&Ps might get this pullback to 77.50, 75s we were talking about, which would be kind of crazy. That's a bit of a pullback though in NASDAQ. I don't know that I don't know that I expected to see that. All right, I don't want to try and buy this pullback to 77, 50, 75s. I've got Microsoft on. I've got still some Q calls on. I've got the Apple position on. I like this pullback here for Microsoft considering market is getting a decent pullback here, maybe towards 77.50s. This is kind of trying to hold this 514.30 area. We've taken some profits off on this, obviously already. Nothing crazy though. And they're still actually hanging out here. 17 cents. They're not bad. The 520s, we're still close enough that I think they have a really good shot. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it alone. Let those two things, my bet is made with Apple and Microsoft. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and let that be what it is. I don't know if my Q calls will do anything. 727s. I still think we can get up there to that 30,059. Probably would have been a little better if we held 750-ish area up there. And it looked good up until literally like 4 minutes ago. So yeah, I'm just gonna let that be what it is. Microsoft at this point can either come back down to 0, and it is what it is. Same thing in Apple. Those contracts were only 4 cents, nothing crazy. And it'll still end up being a pretty decent day overall, I think. All things considered. So could have been a really, really nice day with some S&Ps there. But also probably would have given back a good portion on this move just now. Looking to see if we couldn't get up there to another 20 points to 77.98. So the Russell is the one that's like not about this action at the moment. So that's interesting. Probably have to keep an eye on that in the next week. So, but yeah, that's what I got. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up here and call it a day. Yesterday was nice. And man, we didn't do a giveaway at all this week. That's on me. Yeah, NASDAQ still coming down. There's 77.51s. All right, I'm gonna leave before I get myself in trouble. And I'm closing out futures order capabilities anyway. We did just trade that in S&Ps, didn't we? Opening print in NASDAQ there. That's crazy. We just pulled back like almost 200 points in NASDAQ. That's kind of wild. Okay. There's a long here in S&Ps from 77.50, 75s potentially. I am not going to take it. I'm going to sign off. I don't love that the Dow got that new high up there earlier. Nothing else did. We set that divergence and then we sold off 200 plus points here in the NASDAQ. 30 couple points here now in the S&P. So I'm going to let that be what it is and then get the weekend started. So Microsoft, Apple to the moon whenever markets figure themselves out here. AMD, Tesla, Nvidia, Meta even all kind of coming off highs pretty aggressively there. But if and when we find some support, then I would think that Apple and Microsoft can try and make that move. So yeah, that's what I got. I'm going to go ahead and call it a day in a week. It'll be kind of like the same game plan next week is end up probably having to be patient for, you know, a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday type of move to try and really do anything. And I'm okay with that, honestly. As long as that's what we know what we're doing and we're not getting tripped up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we can capitalize it on Thursday and Friday, then it is what it is. That's been kind of the theme. And I think I took, what did I take last Friday off? I feel like I did. Honestly, don't remember at the moment. But yeah, no, I did. Because that's the day Tesla moved. But yeah. So anyways, that's what I got. I'm going to run. Time for some lunch. And yep, we'll go from there. So Microsoft to 533s, I think it is, wherever it is up there that it can go to. And yeah, we'll go from there. So anyways, appreciate you guys as always. If you need me, hit me up. Code MLT, all your favorite prop firms. Appreciate the love and support. You guys have a great weekend. Don't get in trouble. Have some fun. A little rest and relaxation. Come back ready to go for next week. So we're going to be coming into September here actually fairly soon. So that shall be interesting. But yeah, appreciate you guys, and I will see you next week. Peace.